That's cool. Here's a good one. Blacks do not drive culture.
That's a zinger right there.
Blacks do not drive culture, and blacks are in fact cultureless.
That's crazy.
Again,
that's crazy.
I'll just.
That's probably the thing I was most insulted by that he said.
Yeah, my goal is to not give too much energy to this. I'll just pass.
That's crazy.
Is there anything further on that, or is that all
there
he
is?
said?
Do you have the points that he said? Word culture.
No, but I probably can look them up if you guys go ahead and start.
Can you
talking.
also read the
Wearing
definition of culture as well? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can pull up that. Go ahead.
That's so whack for him to say that shit.
Let me pose the question. What bothers you about that?
What bothers me about it is how are black people cultureless?
How is a black person saying black people are cultureless?
How? America is built on black culture. And what's crazy about America being built on black culture and not stating that no other cultures exist is we were brought over here against our will and created our own means of civilization and living,
right?
Which people then adapted to and took it and made their own. Something as simple as soul food even.
Right.
Slaves were given scraps to make food, and they made the shit taste very fucking good, which in turn made soul food. It also created heart disease and high blood pressure and shit like that too.
100%.
But it definitely is a part of culture, right? And you have all kind of soul food, hipster restaurants that pop up, and you would consider that culture, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's just one thing. Music, that's a whole nother tangent.
If black people didn't have any culture, what have you been sampling from all this time?
Man,
preach.
Well, what are you doing, Kanye West? You're black and you're
what is the culture?
What you're, like I just do.
You're doing a gospel album. What is that?
Isn't that weird within itself?
Yeah.
Kanye West, he's like the Dave.
He can
Chappelle
have
character.
that opinion again.
I'm glad
he can
said
have that opinion, but it's just so strange coming from him.
It really isn't.
And
that's it.
It's really not.
It's not.
Yeah, nowadays I guess
it's really not. Like he's just a hot take person at the end.
It is. Man. It's very. You're right.
Sunken place, man. God damn. I seen a picture of Kanye that he had on a jean outfit. And his jean jacket was buttoned all the way up to the top, man.
Hey, man, that brother can wear what he wants.
What
man.
the
It's
fuck,
cool.
B? And this is what killed me about the shit, because y'all kill me for being a Kanye West fan. Y'all have been doing it ever since this show started.
We don't
want to.
Y'all kill me for this shit.
We don't want to promote violence out here,
listen,
man.
that has nothing to do with violence, sir.
Killed us.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, it's a strong word. Go
What are
ahead,
you
bro.
doing?
That's just like culture doesn't exist.
Go ahead,
with the
man.
black. All right,
Mike, that's black on black violence.
That's what that
is.
is. Go ahead, man.
My man had his jacket buttoned all the way up to the top.
Okay.
And I remember a verse where he said, y'all wear suits because y'all can't dress no more.
Yeah.
And I seen him with this fucking blue jean jacket buttoned all the way up to the top, looking real suspect. This is a guy that used to rap about a lot of fashion and shit, right?
100%.
He has his own shoes.
Is he done with fashion now?
Hell no.
Nah,
he's gonna get his bag.
How
He's
you
actually
expect him
doing
to
it.
pay his
He's
bills?
gonna get his bag.
I mean,
Through Jesus.
see,
Nah, okay.
he's actually doing a great job with his fashion, though. All jokes
No,
aside.
he's not, because he's buttoning his jean jacket
Not
up
his.
to the
I'm
top.
talking about the Yeezy brand, man. Like that.
Just like Michael Jordan is doing well
Come on,
with
man.
the shoes, and he's out here wearing no more drama boots.
with a
Man.
with a real baggy suit.
with the real.
Somebody
Man,
give me some-
Jordan wears jeans that has the bottom of his jeans
He stopped doing that, man.
will
Did
cover a Jordan. They look like Jinkos,
yeah, you
like
pointing
the
at me.
joints that you used to wear.
I had one pair.
Man,
Used to
my
put
guy
Stop, Spoolz.
Kanye,
Stop.
your
Spoolz.
pogs in.
Stop
still-
pools.
What?
Plenty of
help
room.
that man.
What?
Sorry, move the mic. I know what he
Your
on.
Magic the Gathering cards.
Stop,
dude.
pools. Go ahead, man.
No,
I'm just saying, why is he out here with his jacket buttoned up like that,
Ooh,
B?
oh yeah.
Because he don't care. Because Jesus.
Stop. Listen,
Because Jesus.
No, so let's get back to the culture statement.
I got
That's
the full,
culture right there. That's bullshit culture. He got his goddamn jacket buttoned up
I just
to the
think
top
I just
like
to
that.
say that there's no black culture. I mean, I know it's not as powerful, perhaps coming from me, as just
That's tough.
faults.
That's tough.
all around.
There's no, say that again.
It's false to say there is no black culture.
Oh yeah, it is.
false.
It's very
Let me
fucking
let me
false.
let me elaborate.
There's
on
no
the,
white
on the
culture.
comment.
There's no such thing.
We could absolutely talk
Actually.
about that.
But there is certainly a black culture thing. That certainly exists because of the nature in which.
I'll give you another cultural
That's
gem.
real.
I'll give you another cultural gem.
There's
That's
white
real.
culture. We talked about it a few episdes ago.
I'll give you another cultural gem
What is
that,
it?
that
Kissing
people
your
won't
dog in
even
the mouth.
consider culture though,
Yeah, that's right.
because
Mayonnaise
it's something that
lovers.
everybody.
Sorry, Terry.
Well, whatever. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but
We were having a conversation when you
I know.
started a conversation.
oh, okay, all right. But yeah, culture,
White
blues,
privilege.
definitely.
Yeah,
That's culture.
People know this.
yeah,
The blues.
yeah.
So during like the whole
Of course,
blues era,
jazz.
well, it's deeper than that because
Alright.
they were like when they were scatting and shit like that. They were talking about smoking weed, and people were scared of them for talking about smoking weed early on. Like if you research jazz and shit and the lyrics and all that, they were talking about smoking weed, and people were scared to let certain individuals listen to jazz because they were talking about smoking weed.
Wow.
Going towards
To what American culture wise,
Sure.
because it was being smoked everywhere else, but kind of jazz, kind of.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
it's
brought it
criminal.
to
That's why it's
America.
criminalized as well.
right.
That was
Yeah,
a big part. That and Mexican Americans.
Yeah.
But, or just Mexicans in general in the 30s and 20s and
Yeah.
shit. But the blues, we talk about culture, the blues. The blues is, I mean, you can say is derived at least in part from spirituals.
Yep.
You know, that were
Talk that talk,
that were,
Spoolz.
you know, used and sung in
That's
the
real.
fields, you know what I'm saying? Like by slaves, you know what I mean? That's
Drums
a part,
are
that's a part
cultural.
of it. Yeah, for sure. So just to say it doesn't exist is just false. So
Let me expand on the actual comment. I know you asked about
sorry,
that.
Terry, we were talking about Sean said white culture does exist, and I was like, oh yeah, and Jay Moore was like, you mean kissing dogs in the mouth? That's it, yeah. I was like,
Wearing shorts in the
mayonnaise,
winter.
Wearing shorts in the winter.
Yeah.
That was fun. I remember
That was a successful little sound bit that we did at that time.
100%.
A lot of people liked that segment.
There's lots more
Indeed.
white culture out there too.
Gosh, man, where do we start? Using summer as a verb.
Having supper.
Yeah, having
Prison
supper.
industrial complex.
Yeah.
Oh,
I summered somewhere. Like, yeah, that's white.
Yeah.
It's really white.
Summered in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, hey,
All right, man.
That's language. That's culture, bud.
Let me read this comment, man. He says, we are culturalists. We don't have our own culture. We're assigned to culture vultures. We sign our life away. Our contracts are culture vultures. Think about everything.
That doesn't
that-
even make
I
sense.
Let me
can't
finish
disagree
the
with
I'm
that
sorry,
part,
I'm sorry.
but the
Let me-
first part.
Let me finish the comment, then
Go
y'all
ahead.
can
I'm
cook.
sorry.
I see what he's saying.
We're signed to culture vultures. We sign our life away. Our contracts are culture vultures. Think about everything that's cultural. Taking the knee is cultural. Being on social media is cultural. Wearing high fashion is cultural. Pushing a foreign is cultural. All these things are not owned by our culture.
He's talking about ownership.
So we designed the culture. What does it mean to do it? What does it mean to do it for the culture? You know, we hear that phrase a lot. That's why I do it for Christ.
All right.
Now,
So there's some truth in what he just said there, but like that doesn't mean the culture wasn't born from black people. You know,
The
it's just
problem-
been exploited.
Yeah.
That's, you know.
Kanye's problem is the way he words things and tries to describe and make a point, rather than gathering his thoughts all together and taking you down the right path to explain exactly what he says.
right.
He starts off with the Candace Owens moment. The same
Yeah.
thing she pretty much did on the what was the Revolt panel.
The panel, yeah.
You can't start off something with bullshit. He did the same thing on TMZ when he was talking about slavery.
That's bullshit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To say that you're culturalist and then say we signed to cultural vultures,
Right.
so they're stealing your culture,
Right.
essentially.
Thus, you have no culture.
Thus, right, I understand that, but to just blatantly say that
It's dumb.
because people that take things for surface matter,
Right.
that's all they hear.
But do you agree with that? That as a result of that there is no culture?
No, I don't.
I do not.
Yeah,
That would mean that one is dependent on the other. right?
Right.
That culture is dependent on ownership, which then you have to define what ownership is.
Yeah.
It's just been exploited.
Yeah, monetarily,
Correct.
Through capitalization of.
Because there's definitely culturisms, if that's even a word, that black people practice that still haven't made it to mainstream.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're talking from a consumer point of view, then okay, that makes sense as far as trying to be in control of ownership of everything, taking a Prince way of thinking, a Michael Jackson
Stevie
way
Wonder.
of thinking. Stevie,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They kind of control, or they controlled, Stevie Wonder still controls their own culture that they manifested. Motown still controls
They do.
the culture that they manifested.
Do they? Barry Gordy. I thought Barry Gordy sold that.
I
He did.
honestly
But they
don't
still,
know.
like, in a sense of, they still own masters. I have a cousin that wrote songs from Motown
That's dope.
early on.
Yeah.
She's still paid and still receives royalties.
Believe
That's
it.
love.
It might. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so
And those are some timeless records back then.
right, and then
Don't
she's going to
disagree with
sign
that.
that over to somebody whenever she passes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's culture.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of my coworkers brought up a point, and I guess this is why I have to go back and watch. There was the Big Boy interview. He said one thing that Kanye said that was dope. This is to him, was a part about black ownership, kind of what you're talking about, but also like owning property and developing a sustained living on your own in terms of growing foods and things of that nature. I think that's dope. And also he mentioned philanthropy, like certain things that he wanted to do to help people around the world, like building certain things, establishing certain living communities. All that shit is dope to me. Like if the conversation comes up from him doing all this, and at least it's something that has that positive of effect on another country here at home or whatever, that's dope to me. I have no issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like the actual circus and just it as a whole, I'm choosing to stay away from. I'm not about to argue about it. I'm not about to, I don't want to do that. But I'm not about to sit here and lie and say I haven't heard a few positive things, even though it's from other people, that I think they're actually dope. So again, he could do what he wants. Like he said, I've always heard him say, free thinking. You're free to think what you want. You know what I'm saying? So people have a right to their opinion about his product, his movement, or whatever. It's cool, to each his own. But I'm not going to lie and say the philanthropy doesn't sound dope, because I hope that does happen. I think that would be ill, for sure.
One of my gripes with Kanye is how he keeps leaning back on his statement during Katrina when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't keep carrying on.
Right.
I mean, because you're backing Donald Trump right now.
Right.
I mean, that's your guy. You rub elbows with him. You wear a MAGA hat and shit.
Right.
You probably fuck with Jussie Smollett
Well, in the same way that people are allowed to change
or Juicy.
when people are allowed to change for the better or whatnot, he can
Right.
say all he wants that he said that early on about George Bush, but the fact that he does the MAGA stuff now,
Exactly.
it's contradictory to his stance. So he went a different path.
Mm-hmm.
Just
But he keeps bringing that point up.